Is there something wrong with me? These are amongst the many questions we ask ourselves after we experience infidelity. Today on Our Space, we learn that sometimes we don't always get the answers we want to hear. Should our first op expose his cheating wife? Let's talk about that. Quick question. Do you all consider cheating abusive behavior? My soon-to-be ex-wife had a 2-year affair, even though I didn't know about it at the time. I know now. I consider the entire 2 years of abuse. Thoughts? The community has plenty of opinions. Harold, the trash panda, has one. Absolutely. I was beating my brains out to figure out the dead bedroom, her insane behavior, and why nothing was ever good enough for her. She wasted so much of my time. Entertainment Full 756 says there's no doubt that it is abuse. While there are obvious mental and emotional traumas, there is a physical toll as well. Exhaustion, chronic nausea, hypertension, etc., can lead to heart attack and stroke territory pretty quickly. Just because you might not have been punched in the face, you definitely feel like you have been hit by a bus? The op replies agreed. Even 3 years later of me finding out it still is painful. Luckily, I have no more feelings for my soon-to-be ex-wife, which makes it much easier. And Taru adds to the conversation. Cheating is a deliberate act. They know full well that it is going to cause their partner pain. They know that engaging in sexual activity comes with risks of STDs. They know it is going to blow up a marriage, hurt children, and shadow the heart of their partner. They know all of this and do it anyway. They do not care about anything other than their own selfish desires. What makes it worse is they blame the person they cheated on. How many of us here have heard phrases like "you pushed me to do this" or "I wasn't happy and that's why I cheated"? Abusive people blame their victims for their bad behavior. "I wouldn't have hit you if you hadn't said what you said." Sadly, society as a whole does not see cheating as abusive. All too often, even in my own experience, people will rationalize right along with the cheater. It is why communities like these are so very important to help those who often have nobody else to turn to. Witchy Flowerpot claims, cheating is abuse, period. It's not the cheating that comes alone. It's the gaslighting, blame shifting, trauma, marital negligence, and verbal abuse that follows. It's overshadowed only by SATA circumstances. Angel Fire 314156 says it is physically, emotionally, and mentally abusive. Basically, they force a one-sided open relationship on you without your consent. When it becomes physical, they also potentially expose you to STIs. They use gaslighting, which is the worst form of lying, to cover their tracks. All of this leaves you in a defenseless position. I completely think it's abuse. It's definitely a form of emotional abuse. There's a lot of psychological trauma that occurs from something like infidelity. Adults crush the trust in our own perceptions of reality. Although someone might not suffer any bruises, the ability for someone to love again as well as someone's ego both take beatings. These wounds may not be visible, but the scars will remain forever. Update. Wife, ex-wife, upset. I told my parents about her affair. My wife and I are separated after 14 years of marriage. Today, she called and asked if I told my parents about her affair, and I said, yes. I said I needed to because of the way she has recently been acting and making me feel I'm going crazy. I found out about her 2-year affair in 2019. We tried to reconcile, but obviously it didn't work. We never had an arrangement to keep the affair between the two of us. In fact, I did keep it secret until now. Told my parents to keep the affair between the 3 of us, and I trust they will. She went ballistic, stating, "You better pray your mom keeps her effing yap shut, because if our kids find out about our private marriage issues, I will tell everyone everything." Mind you, there has never been an issue of anyone on my side of the family keeping a secret. Her side cannot keep anything private to save their lives, and go ahead and tell people. I've got a lot more ammo than you if you want to start spreading dirty laundry. She wanted me to call my mom and see who she told and impress upon her the importance of keeping it from the kids. Obviously, I told her I was not doing that. She was very upset. The kids might find out, which they won't because I trust my parents. She was very hostile, threatening and insane. She was worried about the kids and what if they found out. The texts she sent are horrible. Very crappy day, again, because of her. Am I crazier as this insane behavior from someone who had a 2-year affair with very little consequences until now? Thanks. Update. Thank you for all the comments and suggestions. I really appreciate it. I will take all of them to heart. I know I've made mistakes in the process and I'm committed to not making any more. My kids are too young to tell. 711. To be honest, I'm scared because of the legal system and how it favors mothers. Even though she cheated, she is the drunk. I've heard so many good fathers and husbands getting screwed. I haven't talked to her since and don't want to. She's such a sociopath and narcissist. Thank you all for the support. The community has some thoughts. First up, Brian MCG 321 says, I would tell everyone. Why would you keep this a secret? Me personally, I would have a billboard in town and send out mailers to everyone, and I mean, everyone. Web 822 says you should have told everyone that your wife cheated on you. You gave her control and she is a good liar. When they write stories for themselves, they will blame you. Don't be surprised if she tells the kids or others that you cheated on her. Blade 982 says, keep those texts she sent. Document any and all abusive behavior. If at some point, she tries to turn your kids against you, you'll have evidence of her reprehensible behavior. You did nothing wrong by confiding in your parents. You can share your story with whoever you wish. You don't have to listen to her or engage with her. Make it mandatory that you only communicate via co-parenting app and hang up the next time she calls to yell at you. GOP replies, thank you, and I'm doing the co-parenting app in the morning. I'm done with her crap. Mr. Big Bull has a thought. Why stop at telling your parents? Tell everyone, friends, family, her parents, your parents? I do not know the age of her children. But I would also tell them keeping it from everyone is basically lying. Everybody is entitled to know the truth. Why are you so afraid of your soon-to-be ex-wife? Exposure to the max, there's no reason to keep it a secret. The only thing you are doing is telling the truth. I feel like she's only telling you not to tell so that she can save face. You didn't do the cheating. She did. It would totally ruin her reputation in the way her children see her. At the same time, I can understand not wanting the children to know. I don't think it's okay to bring children into the mess of infidelity. It's surely not their fault, and it's not fair to place that type of weight on them. Sometimes things between two people should stay between two people, but then again, your ex did bring a third party into the mix. Should Op tell people? Up next, the truth can set you free, but it can also be but ugly. My partner admitted an ugly truth, and I don't think I can do reconciliation anymore. I do not need or want karma. I also admittedly don't get on a computer hardly ever, and I only get on Reddit just to read, but I need advice. I will also probably delete this post at some point after reading the comment. My partner, or I suppose mostly ex-partner, admitted the ugliest truth ever for why he has spent a decade trying to cheat on me. I just got the truth yesterday, and it's hard to live with. It's nothing I can change about myself that he has complaints with. He has criticized every inch of my body, to where I am self-conscious about everything, saying they were jokes. He only told me yesterday the reason, and I feel like I am suffocating tonight. I have tried to reconcile so gosh darn hard in return for just full honesty and faithfulness, and I'm pretty sure full honesty still isn't being given. But why? I need advice? One of the other women he tried for said she would tell me the very personal things he said about me. And this is a huge warning sign for me. What about my body, my looks, my reproductive parts? My personality, my illnesses, and disabilities? Did he criticize this time? They both said they did not sleep together, and I know that is fact. She reported him to HR. I was there when our called the house to investigate, and he gave me an explanation beforehand when his coworkers had mentioned things to him about what he said and did. Do I want to know the crappy things he has said about me and end reconciliation forever? The things he doesn't have the courage to admit to my face. To know how crappy he really thinks of me behind my back. As evidence of her truth and more of his lies, Do I skip it because I can't hear how not good enough I am in any way, anymore, except for the labor I provide? He admitted he forgot he had talked to her more about things, and gave me his light explanation. Do I want to know? Update. She only confirmed what he already confessed to, refuse to give me anything in writing, and laughed at me for crying and got into insulting me like one editor has shown me I deserve. I'll be deleting this and not returning to Reddit anymore. Thank you anyway. I'm sorry for turning to Reddit rather than just suffering in silence by myself like normal. Edit. 2. She laughed at me for crying because I said I refused to chat over the phone because I'm crying. And she said, any other way is not woman to woman, and laughed at me, then straight on bullied me. So, thanks. I just won't ask anymore ever again, and I give up on ever speaking about what I'm suffering through again. Cynical recidivist says, mate, do not listen to what he said about you. Unless criticism is coming from a place of trying to help a person get better. His isn't. Then there's no effing need to have those knives lodged in your heart forever, also to be replayed and replayed and replayed. It's enough to know he is a see you next Tuesday. Not good for you, and you need to get an effing grip and F him off. I mean this in a loving way. You don't need to hear a effing dissertation about all the wrongs he perceives or just plain lies about. I remember I was workmates with a particularly vicious set of witches. And one was on the phone with me, all set to spread a bit of misery to me, and says, do you want to hear what Kath said about you? I said, nah, mate. I don't give an effing crap about Kath's opinion of me, as her opinion means F all to me. The silence on the other end was glorious, as this last was all flustered because I acted like I didn't care. I honestly didn't need to hear what a poisonous person thinks. Please contact mates, family, your cheerleaders in life. Those that have your back and look for the joys brothers in your life, not those that will try to drag you down. Those people are lower than all the bullocks on a snake. Go and live a good, happy life. Please, please do not spend more time listening to what's wrong with you, but what's effing amazing about you. Please look for joy, not misery. You are stronger than you know, mate. Please believe that. Mietta New Sign says, the reason you are being bullied is because you're allowing it to happen. You continue to talk to this other woman who is bullying you because you keep contacting and answering instead of blocking. Your ex keeps bullying you because you still haven't blocked and moved on. You need to stand up for yourself and stop this I'm a poor helpless victim mentality. You are far stronger than that. If you continue to be in that mindset that you cannot do anything, that you are just a victim and someone with zero self-confidence, you'll end up in another horrible relationship because predators can smell people like you. And they'll take advantage of you. What he has said about you means absolutely nothing. How he describes you is not who and what you are. Stop being with this abusive a-hole. And start being the person you are meant to be. Happy, confident, and eventually finding someone who appreciates you. Username 119611691 says, no, you don't want no. Unless you otherwise will stay with him. If knowing ensures you have the courage to leave, then go ahead and find out. If you are going to leave anyway, then nothing will be gained from hearing this. Please also remember these comments have nothing to do with you. It's about him and his attempt to manipulate his coworker. Screw him and whatever he said. Whatever he said is BS. If anyone's not good enough, it's your ex. Let him go. Why would you want to reconcile with him? All he does is hurt you. Moreover, his opinion of you is in no way a measure of your value. Only you determine that. Why would you want to be around anyone that disrupts your peace of mind and makes you feel as little as possible? And why are you so hell-bent on hearing about it? You're the only hurting yourself. Let go of the hurt. Take your power back. Respect and love yourself. Focus on the positive. You have to dig yourself out of this hole up. We can tell you how amazing you are until we're blue in the face. But it's up to you in the end. Lastly, why are we so obsessed with whether or not our ex cheats on an upgrade or a downgrade? Why do we always cheat with people who in comparison to you are total downgrades? My female 26, ex, May 24. Dumped me 2 months ago, really coldly and harshly after 2 years together. His reasons didn't make sense, and he couldn't even look me in the face when he did it. I didn't understand at the time. As the weeks have gone by, it's come out that he cheated on me with his ex, which I had my suspicions. I caught him Snapchat messaging her back in May, but at the time he lied about it, and I didn't realize it was her because of his lying. He even told me, if you're going to keep going on and on about this, you can get out. I should have walked then. As the weeks post-breakup have gone by, it's come out that he cheated on me with said ex. Said ex also carries an STD, has a boyfriend, and has been on and off with my ex since middle school. So one can assume she's always been lurking in the background. Now, my ex has recently gotten with a girl who has a lot of history on her town. She used to be into hard drugs like heroin, has been known to physically assault others and her boyfriends, has interesting tattoos, doesn't work, and also has genital herpes. Not STD shaming, but it's important in the fact that if I was unknowingly exposed to that, that's scary as F for me. This girl compared to me is very different. He also went to high school with her, so I can assume he's had her on his radar for a minute. But many people have said to me, that's my ex's type. He likes that type of girl. Dating me didn't make sense for my ex, but dating this new girl does make sense for him. Which I don't understand. I'm tall, pretty, not model or anything, natural, big-chested. Work out 6 days a week, have my bachelor's and my master's, and in nursing school, I work 60 hours a week in an emergency department. I have my crap together and have a lot going for me. I just don't understand how me and our up was so horrible for him that he had to go off and cheat on me with his ex. And then 2 weeks later, get with this girl who was just flat out, I'm great. I legit had no idea the entire time, as things were fine up until he started talking to his ex in May. And that's when I noticed the distance and the sabotaging of our relationship. Can someone give me insight as to why? Why the downgrades? Why the specific taste in women who are less than ideal to bring home to mom? Edit. I should add, some commenters have brought up that maybe my ex felt neglected by me working so much, which possibly, but I think it's important to add my ex as highly avoidant. He needed a lot of autonomy and alone time in a relationship, so I figured it was working well for both of us. He didn't get mean and distant with me until he was talking to his ex back in May. Brooke Trout 523 from the community has this to say. Mine did in every possible way. A fair partner is probably kissing the crap out of her butt to hold on to her, which gives her the massive ego kibbles and external validation cheaters crave. D-rated Avenger adds, assuming we are not talking about the one-night stand type of affair, then people cheat to their own level, to who they feel comfortable with. It's usually a lift for them to be with someone who is faithful and emotionally healthy, and lots of times, I think it's hard for cheaters who are usually dysfunctional to continue to carry that. Lots of times, they just seem to self-destruct. As hard as it is for betrayed spouses to understand, they feel a kinship to the person they cheat with because they share the same nature. Often, the affair partner understands them a lot better than the betray partner does because they think the same way. Generally speaking, these are people who have issues and have had them for a long time. Lumped, but Kat says, well, if a person wants to feel smart, they date someone dumb. If they want to feel attractive, they date someone unattractive. If they want to feel successful, they date someone unsuccessful. Can go on and on. Maybe it's self-esteem, confidence. Who knows? Not a psychologist, just my 2 cents of crappy Reddit opinion. Construction New 1212 says it may seem like a downgrade, but that isn't what it is about for them when they find a new one. They tried with you. They realized they aren't able to have a successful relationship with you for whatever reasons. You're too successful, together, know what you want, don't need them. They seek a weaker-minded person, could even be a better-looking new partner, but almost always as a weaker-minded person, one that will tolerate more and accept less and is easier to manipulate. Sometimes there's no how or why. We don't always get closure in life. Best thing we can do is focus on living the best life possible. On our own terms, focusing on the present. Cheaters cheat. That's what they do. No rhyme or reason other than they just like the chase and they can't help themselves. They don't respect or love themselves, and because of that, it's impossible for them to respect or love others. So do yourself a favor. Stop living in the past. Stop looking back and stop wondering what went wrong or what you did wrong because you did nothing wrong. What are your thoughts? And thank you for joining us today in our space. Like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. We hate for you to miss out. If you want to listen to more stories from me, check out our lounge where I feature a larger variety of non-cheating related